Step 2, what do landlords, or what problems do they have? Why would a landlord choose to work with a letting agent? What problems can you help them to solve, especially if they're managing their property on their own? Okay, let's jump into the laptop. I've got a short presentation to show you and really lay out these problems and the content you should be creating around that. So let's jump into that now. Right then, so what problems do landlords have, and how can you solve these problems for them in your content? Also, this video is going to be sponsored and followed along by the Monopoly Man, because he was the original G, the original Don when it came to landlords. Nothing represents passive income on properties like Mr. Monopoly. So there he is, going to be helping you get some more landlords. So let's do it. What are their problems? Constant new regulations. We've just had the renters reform bill like a month ago. Helped one of my letting agent clients create a lot of content around that and do nurture their database around that, so they were the first point of contact if anybody had any questions. Tons of new regulations coming in. I think I saw a year ago it was like a few hundred pages of regulation now. It was over like 200 or 300 pages of regulation. I'm not too sure at the exact number. There was an awful lot of regulations that landlords have got to stay up to date with if they're managing it by themselves as well. That's an awful lot of paperwork. Arrears and bad tenants. All right, nobody wants their tenant to be in arrears and can't pay or damage the property. It's going to affect your asset, it's going to affect the value of your asset, and it's going to affect your cash flow as well. Of course, landlords have properties to earn some extra money, whether it's capital gains or it's cash flow, right, and rent. Nobody wants their finances affected like that by bad tenants. Time freedom. All right, they don't want to manage all their properties themselves. They want the time, right, and they want that cash flow and that freedom that comes with it. Fear of anything going wrong with their property. Maybe they're inexperienced, maybe they haven't had a property before, or maybe they have quite a lot of them and they don't want anything to go wrong, because if it all starts going wrong, then they haven't got that time for it, right? And also the marketing their property and then finding new tenants. This is almost always going to be something that landlord needs a letting agent for. So use Rightmove, use Spare Room, these kind of things, get the proper photos and market that property and tap into their database of tenants, all right? So all these things, especially if the landlord, of which there'll be quite a lot of landlords out there, manage their properties themselves, all these kind of problems are magnified, all these fears are magnified if they are managing their property themselves. And again, that's something that you can address in your marketing there, okay? You should write down right now every single one of these things: new regulations, renters reform bill, arrears and bad tenants, time freedom, fear of anything going wrong, and marketing the property and finding new tenants. You should write each of these 5 things down as a headline and start to write a little piece of content around that you can put out in a blog or on social media or make a video about. Okay, so pause this video, write these 5 things down as headlines on a piece of paper so you have them there. That's a week's worth of social media content for you right there in itself.